I, Hazel, your average wage drone, just flash married a cop named Chase. The minute the license was stamped, we each went home, and a month evaporated in overtime. Who could have guessed our post-wedding hello would happen in an interrogation room? I'd just finished a perfectly legitimate massage at Cloud when they hauled me out as the poster girl of their vice sweep. The officer questioning me, Officer Martinez, radiated righteous justice, and his face looked naggingly familiar. He asked, "If you had needs, why didn't you come to me?" I blanked. "Come to you? Detective Morris, is that even legal? What's the hourly rate?" He stared back, enunciating every syllable. "Perfectly legal. On the house. I'm your husband. My name is Hazel, 26, a digital campaign planner at a Riverdale tech outfit that's flatlining on life support. The firm just landed a whale of a project. I'd logged 15 straight days of overtime and felt I might actually die at my standing desk. Neck, shoulders, lower back, nothing felt attached to me anymore. The moment I shifted, my joints screeched like rusted-out factory gears. Friday night, Creative finally showed mercy, announcing Phase 1 wrapped. Everyone got 48 hours of freedom. I dragged my hollowed-out carcass out of the building, convinced a stiff breeze could scatter me like dandelion fluff. Luna pinged me on WhatsApp. "Hayes, still breathing? Want to blow off steam?" I replied with a corpse sticker and typed voiceless. "No steam left. I just want a full-body rebuild. Go get a massage. There's a new place called Cloud. My client swears the therapists are magicians and the decor is 5-star. She flashes her membership card like it's a black Amex and says she walks out reborn. Reborn? That word was catnip to the living dead. I felt like a wandering ghost desperate for a resurrection coupon. Legit. I double-checked. Too many parlors hang mutton under a sheep's sign. Relax, she's a woman and a straight arrow. Plus, it's smack downtown, all marble and gold. How seedy could it be? Go, treat yourself. 10 minutes later, I was in a rideshare. Cloud punched into GPS. The place lived up to the hype. Standalone mansion, 2 stone lions flanking gilt doors, the works. Inside, chandeliers dripped crystal, and some tasteful aroma, sweet but unnameable, curled through the air. A girl in a silk cheapao floated over, celestial level pretty. "Miss, here alone? What service may I arrange? I just need a massage." The grandeur shrank me to a whisper. "We offer tuina Thai or aromatherapy. Which would you prefer?" "Just the basic fatigue buster, please. Save my neck and my sanity, that was all." "Certainly. I'll book you with our top masseuse this way." Down a corridor soft as twilight, she ushered me into a private suite the size of my apartment. Low amber lights, crisp-sheeted table, rainfall shower tucked in the corner. She told me to rinse and slip into the provided robe. I obeyed. The hot water kissed my skin, and I moaned like a deflating balloon. Half my soul crawled back into its body. When I emerged, a woman in her 30s wearing the house uniform waited, her badge read masseuse. "Ready, miss? Let's begin." Her voice was mother hen gentle. I flopped onto the table, face in the donut pillow, a lamb ready for whatever saved me. "First visit?" she asked, drizzling warm oil across my trapezius. "Yeah, friend's recommendation. Your shoulder knots and lumbar strain scream desk jockey." Guilty, fossilizing in front of dual monitors. Her palms shifted from featherlight to stone heavy, landing on every trigger point like guided missiles. I grimaced, drooled, and practically purred, pain and bliss conducting the same orchestra. Soon I hovered in that pre-sleep altitude, halfway to reincarnation. Then the door exploded inward. I spasmed awake. Uniformed men stormed in, shouting, weapons drawn. "Police! Nobody move! On the floor!" The lead sergeant's voice could have cracked concrete. My brain blue-screened. Massage police. Those words didn't share a Venn diagram. Masseuse squealed and squatted in the corner. "Me!" I was belly down in a tissue-thin robe, commando underneath. How does one get on the floor modestly? "You on the table. Down. Now." A baby-faced rookie pointed like I was a fugitive mannequin. Mortification engulfed me. I yanked a towel, burrito-wrapped myself, rolled off the table, and crab-crawled to a corner, forehead glued to knees. Dear God, what alternate universe was this? Luna swore this place was clean. Had she pranked me? Or had her client pranked us both? Handcuffed thoughts clanged in my skull. Vice raid. Me. I'd never jaywalked, let alone solicited. If word spread, my ancestors would blush in their graves. Soon I was herded, robe, towel, shame, into a wagon with a dozen other panicked spa-goers and staff. Inside the cage, every glance stabbed. Whimpers and curses soundtracked the ride. I clutched my terry cloth armor and prayed for a nightmare timeout. At Riverdale HQ, they lined us up for mugshot theater. Sign in, snap, fingerprint. My turn. Name: Hazel, trembling. Age: 26. Occupation: P-planner. Reason detained? I almost bawled. Detective Morris, I swear I'm innocent. I only wanted my neck fixed. The sergeant's face stayed flat. He scribbled, then pointed. Room 3, sit tight. Officer Patel escorted me to an interrogation cube I'd only seen on crime shows. Metal table, 2 chairs, cooperate for leniency poster, a bulb that could shame the sun. She locked me in. I rehearsed speeches. First-timer, friend bait and switch, pure agony relief. Door opened. In walked broad shoulders in uniform. He sat, slapped a folder on the metal, didn't glance up. The lamp carved his profile, late 20s, bronze skin, carved jaw, eyes like still water hiding riptides. Recognition sucker punched me. License day 1 month ago. This was the man who slid the marriage certificate toward me, hair softer than in civvies. Chase, my legal stranger. I wanted to phase through the floor. Either he hadn't recognized me or wasn't interested in claiming his busted bride. Voice frosty. Name. I squeaked, Hazel. Age. 26. Address. I rattled off my loft. No eye contact. Know why you're here. They raided Cloud. Word is prostitution ring, your name's on tonight's client ledger. I just paid for a back rub. Which therapist? 9, her tag said masseuse. He rifled through pages. Masseuse, real name Morgan, prior convictions. We watch her. My lungs collapsed. He let the silence stretch. Relation to George? My dad. And to Chase? My heart bunny hopped. We're married. A microscopic eyebrow twitch. Reason you didn't ask your husband for help tonight? What help? The corner of his mouth threatened to live. What you came here to buy you could have had free legally. I flushed magma. Is that an on-duty offer? What's the fee structure? He leaned in, deadpan. Legal. No fee. I'm your spouse. Door knock, Zach's head popped in. Sarge. Chase rose. Misunderstanding. Family. He looked down at my beet-red self. Let's go. I trailed him through the bullpen, eyes magnetized to his polished shoes. Every echo of legal, no fee, ricocheted inside my skull. He stopped at his desk, scribbled my release. Zach bounced over. So you're the mystery wife. When's the reception, boss? Chase grunted, thrust the form at him. Gossip embers flew, officers whispering like foghorns. I contemplated spontaneous invisibility. Chase pocketed his pen. Walk you out. I managed a nod, cheeks still radioactive. We stepped into the parking lot night. Lake wind whipped off the water, flipping my robe hem. I clutched it like dignity's last towel. He shrugged off his jacket and draped it over my shoulders, warm, smelling of cedar soap and gun oil. Car's over there. I followed, knees trembling, wondering what etiquette demanded after your brand new husband saves you from a vice rap sheet. He opened the passenger door of an unmarked SUV. Get in before you freeze. I obeyed. Inside, the quiet felt thick enough to chew. He started the engine, heater blasting. Your place or ours? The word ours detonated behind my ribs. Mine's closer. I rattled off the address, voice tiny. He nodded, pulled into traffic, siren off, but radio muttering codes. Streetlights strobed across his profile. All cop, all stranger, all mine on paper. 10 blocks later he broke the silence. Next time your neck hurts, text me. I almost laughed, equal parts grateful and mortified. Pretty sure you don't do out-call massage. I'll learn. Another red light. He glanced sideways. Hazel, I know this isn't the reunion either of us pictured. Understatement of the fiscal year. But we're stuck with each other now, so let's maybe start with dinner instead of jailbreak? I blurted. He actually smiled, small, crooked, gone too fast. Deal. After I change out of this uniform. He turned onto my street, double-parked. I wriggled into his jacket sleeves so the robe wouldn't flash the neighborhood. He walked me to the loft's front door. Key, he asked. I fumbled it out. He took it, unlocked, held the door. Get some sleep. And he tapped the collar of his lone jacket. Keep this. You'll need it tomorrow night. Dinner at 7. Before I could answer, he jogged back to the SUV, coatless in the cold, engine already idling. I stepped inside, heartbeat syncopated against borrowed wool, wondering if marriage boot camp counted the first month when you'd never even exchanged phone numbers, until tonight. Chase shrugged off his uniform jacket and draped it over his arm, leaving only a plain white t-shirt underneath. Without the jacket's authority, he looked less intimidating, more like someone who belonged in a living room than an interrogation room. Let's go, he said to me. I gave a small okay, and followed like a robot. Outside Riverdale's front doors, the night wind slapped my cheeks cool again. My burning face finally dropped a few degrees. I sucked in a long breath, and felt my lungs remember they were alive. Glancing back at the floodlit building, I tasted every flavor of emotion at once. Who could have guessed Hazel's life would pivot this wildly in one single night? Chase led me to the parking lot and climbed into a black SUV. The interior was spotless, almost stark, and a brand-new neck pillow waited on the passenger seat. He tossed his uniform jacket into the back, twisted the key, and the engine purred. Silence rode with us, broken only by the soft rush of the vents. I sat stiff-armed, strangling the seat belt. I had no clue where we were headed, and even less what to say. Jamie for fishing me out sounded wrong. Sorry for the mess sounded worse. We were legal spouses, practically strangers, yet the quiet couldn't last forever. I peeked sideways. He drove like a surgeon, eyes forward, fingers tapping a silent beat on the wheel. Apparently zero awkwardness on his side. Was I the only one dying inside? I cleared my throat. He answered without turning. Tonight, Jamie. It felt the safest sentence I owned. His mouth flicked upward barely, then flattened again. We're married, he said. There it was, those 4 words again. Spoken in his low voice, they carried some kind of spell, steadying my ricocheting heart. You. I hesitated, then let the question tumble out. How did you recognize me in the interview room? We'd met only once before at City Hall, and that day I'd been fully made up. Tonight I was barefaced and still chalk-white from fright. He finally glanced over, gaze dark and unreadable. Your ID photo, remember? I blinked, then flushed at my own slowness. Right, marriage paperwork needs a photocopy. The picture had been snapped my first week of college. Ponytail, baby fat, 0 life scars. Not exactly tonight's haunted edition. Just from one photo? I pressed. Your eyes haven't changed, he said quietly. Something in my chest skipped. My eyes. What was wrong with them? I brushed my fingertips across my cheekbones. The air inside the SUV turned delicate, fizzy. I whipped my head to the window and pretended the passing storefronts were fascinating. We left downtown, slipping onto a street I didn't recognize. Where are we going? I ventured. Home. Home. Whose home? Mine. His. We'd never discussed addresses when we signed the license. While I fretted, he parked in an upscale garage, killed the engine, and unclicked his belt. We're here, let's go. I trailed him to the elevator. It stopped at 18. He unlocked a solid oak front door and stepped aside. After you. I tiptoed in, and felt my jaw drop. The place was huge, done in minimalist monochrome, blacks, whites, grays, slick, gorgeous, and cold. Definitely a bachelor pad. From the shoe cabinet, he produced fluffy pink house slippers still bearing tags, and set them at my feet. Change into these. My stomach did a flip. He'd stocked girl-size footwear ahead of time? I slid my feet into the plush warmth and padded after him. On the living room sofa sat another pastel pink throw pillow, clashing with the decor, yet oddly perfect. He poured me a glass of water and pointed. Relax. I'll grab you something to change into. I perched on the sofa's edge, cup cradled like armor. So this was my flash husband's place, maybe my place now too. Dreamlike didn't cover it. Minutes later he emerged from a hallway carrying folded pajamas, also pink. Bathrooms that way. Go shower, tonight was rough. The set was buttery coral fleece printed with cartoon rabbits. This from the stone-faced detective who'd glared at me under interrogation lights? Inside the bathroom I found dual sets of toiletries. One navy and masculine, one pastel and still in packaging. Toothbrush, towels, pink again. I caught my reflection giggling at the sight. When I re-emerged, scrubbed and human again, Chase lounged on the sofa waiting. He'd traded uniform slacks for gray sweats and looked a decade softer. Spotting me, he rose and gestured toward the room he'd just left. It's late, head to bed. I peeked inside. Master bedroom, king bed centered like a cloud, linens sun-smelling and brand new. What about you? I blurted. He thumbed toward the opposite hallway. I'll take the guest room. My brain stalled. He was giving me the master? I'd assumed a lot of stupid things. Heat whooshed up my neck. Get a grip, Hazel. We'd technically re-met hours ago. This is your place. You should sleep there, I protested. It's fine. He smiled, really smiled this time, white teeth I crinkles. You're the girl, he added, then caught himself. Rest up. Work tomorrow. With that he disappeared into the guest room and clicked the door shut. I stood alone, towel still draped over my arm, heart somersaulting. He'd bailed me out, stocked pink everything, then exiled himself to the smaller room. My instant husband was a gentleman? The master mattress swallowed me like cotton candy. Exhaustion should have knocked me out, yet sleep danced just out of reach. Interrogation room scowl, courtroom smooth, legal and free. Last-minute gentle grin. Chase kept looping through my mind. A soft clink from the kitchen jerked me awake. I cracked the door and peered out. Only the range hood light glowed, outlining Chase's broad back at the open fridge. He sensed me, pivoted, and our eyes locked. Mortified, I yanked the door shut, heart bongo drumming. Busted. I waited, no knock. Sneaking another look, I found the kitchen dark and empty. I exhaled, then jumped at 2 quiet taps on my door. "Come in." I squeaked. He stood framed in the hallway, offering a steaming mug. "Can't sleep." I shook my head. "Warm milk helps." I accepted. The ceramic still radiated heat. "Jamie, you're welcome." He stayed outside, hand on the frame. "Sleep tight." "Wait." I called before logic could intervene. He turned, questioning. "Did you know I was coming?" I asked. The slippers, PJS toiletries, none of it screamed spur of the moment. His paws stretched, then a small nod. "We're married. This is your home, too." He retreated before I could pry deeper. I sipped the milk, warmth trickling all the way to my toes, something icy inside me beginning to melt. That night, thanks to Chase's milk, I slept hard and dream-free. Sunlight and the smell of coffee woke me. The word "loved ones," coming from Chase's mouth, carried an unquestionable certainty. His co-workers froze on the spot, glancing at him, then at me, the gossip in their eyes practically drilling holes through my skull. "Wow, Hazel, when did you land a boyfriend? He's crazy hot." "Right. You hit him so well." "Handsome, what's your name?" Chase had his arm around me. A faint, clean soap smell drifted from him, laced with a hint of tobacco. His arm was strong. Even through the thin fabric, I could feel the lines of muscle. My heart pounded, my cheeks burning. Chase stayed calm. He smiled at my colleagues, polite, detached. "Last name Sterling. Just dropping something off for her. You all carry on, we'll head out." He opened the car door and gently tucked me into the passenger seat. Then he walked around, climbed in, started the engine, and sped away under a volley of jealous stares. Even after we'd gone blocks, I could still feel those scorching eyes boring into my back. Done for. Now the whole office would know I was off the market. And the guy was a tall, SUV-driving loved one. How did you find my office?" I hugged the still warm travel mug and whispered. "You told me this morning." He kept his eyes on the road, driving steadily. I thought back, had I? Just a throwaway line, yet he'd remembered. "Here, Jamie, your brown sugar ginger tea." I unscrewed the lid. One sip, sweet, spicy warmth slid all the way to my stomach. The dull cramp in my lower abdomen actually eased. "No worries," he said quietly. Silence settled again, but this time it felt different from last night. Last night had been awkward. Now, something else hung in the air. I snuck a glance. No uniform today. Just a plain black tee stretching over broad shoulders and solid arms. The steering wheel looked tiny in his grip. He was nothing like the cops I'd imagined, stern, stone-faced, rigid. This one cooked, noticed my period, brewed me brown sugar ginger tea, and bought pink bunny pajamas. "What are you thinking?" he asked out of nowhere. I jumped, yanking my gaze away, pretending to study the scenery. "And nothing. Are we going home?" The route was the one I'd taken that morning. He answered. "Home, home." The word rolled off his tongue so naturally, as if we weren't a flash marriage couple who'd re-met 2 days ago, but an old married pair of decades. A strange feeling fluttered in me. I'd only visited the place once, yet with him there it already carried the temperature of home. Back at our converted industrial loft, he nudged me onto the sofa and carried my mug into the kitchen. Soon the sound of running water and careful scrubbing drifted out. I hugged the pink throw pillow, curled up, and watched his back, suddenly thinking, this life isn't so bad? Hazel, since graduation, had fought this city alone, renting shoebox studios. Every night the door opened to cold air and lonely silence. When had I ever pictured a bright, spacious home, and a man who'd brew brown sugar ginger tea, waiting for me, even if that man was someone I'd more or less sleepwalk into marrying? "What do you want for dinner?" he called, poking his head out. Anything's fine, I'm not picky." I straightened. Then tomato brisket and a quick stir-fried green. Yes. I nodded hard. Tomato brisket, my favorite. He smiled and disappeared again. Soon the rhythmic thud of a knife on board floated out. Tap, tap, tap. I sat listening, feeling strangely grounded, and opened WhatsApp. Luna's 99+ messages exploded on the screen. "Hazel. Spill. Who's the hunk? Holy cow, he drives a monster Land Rover. You bagged a sugar daddy. Whole office is buzzing. You snagged a tall, hot CEO." I typed back, "Stop it. He's just the blind date guy." Luna rang at once. "Shut up. The flash marriage, dude. When did you two hook up?" Literally yesterday," I mumbled. Yesterday. Yesterday you said you were off to a massage. Her rapid-fire questions made my head spin. Long story short, we're together now. Together meaning living together? Yeah. Jesus, Hazel, you skip every step. Flash marriage, flash cohabitation. You at his house? Yeah. Quick, send pics. Show me the future brother-in-law. I dared not. Chase was still cooking. Cut it out. I'm at his place, awkward. Stingy brat. So how is he? Treats you okay? Plenty of guys act nice then turn scummy. He's good, I said truthfully. Less than 24 hours in, and he'd already shown himself careful, thoughtful, respectful. After we hung up, I rolled on the sofa hugging the pillow. Hazel, it seemed, really was starting married life. Dinner was soon ready. A steaming pot of tomato brisket, glossy garlic broccoli, and seaweed egg drop soup. Smells incredible. My eyes shone. Heaped a bowl of rice for me, ladled brisket on top. The beef fell apart, tomatoes bright and tangy. So good I almost swallowed my tongue. This is restaurant level. I raved between bites. Chase, the food industry lost a star when you became a cop. He ducked his head, pleased. Glad you like it. We relaxed, no more stiffness. Talk flowed, his cases my campaign's hobbies. His folks, retired factory workers, lived one town over. After police he'd stayed in Riverdale 6 years. So, why did you even want that blind date? I finally asked. We'd met through a family friend. Mom's mom pressure had worn me down. I'd agreed to just see. Turned out to be Chase. Coffee shop, half an hour, few words, solid vibe. Then he'd asked if I'd marry him. I'd blinked, stunned, asked why. Busy, no time for dating, family pushing. My profile looked simple, steady, suitable. Something in me, mom fatigue maybe, had said yes. Next morning we filed papers. Now he set his chopsticks down. Because I thought you were good. Huh, short as it was, you seemed real, kind. My job's erratic. I need someone steady. Someone who lets me feel grounded. That was you. His earnest gaze set my heart sprinting. Then after the license, silence. Thought you'd changed your mind, wanted out. Never, he said. Day after we wed, the task force landed that robbery spree near Novatech. 3 weeks nonstop. Case closed 2 nights ago. I planned to call, show you the loft, talk move-in dates. Didn't expect, we both knew, hadn't expected our reunion in a vice raid. My tiny resentment melted. Later I tried to wash dishes, he steered me out. You're cramping, rest. Electric blankets on the sofa, heat will help the pain. Bossy but sweet. I obeyed, watching him disappear into the kitchen again. How could one man be this good? Night. Post-shower, I hugged my pillow, heading for the guest room. Day 2, sleeping together felt too soon. The master bedroom door opened. Chase, in navy pajamas, leaned on the jamb. Where to? Guest room. He frowned, walked over, lifted the pillow from my arms, took my hand and tugged me inside. You sleep here. He tossed the pillow on the king bed. Our room. Art room? My legs went weak. Where do you sleep? I stammered. He pointed at the other side. Here. We're married. One bed is normal. Normal, yes. But, he loomed, fresh shower scent swirling. My palms sweated. Seeing my panic, he sighed, voice softening. Relax, I won't touch you. We're legal, no need for separate rooms. But if you really want, I'll take the guest bed. He turned to leave. Somehow I caught his sleeve. I'm not unwilling. Quiet rang. He looked back, surprised. I clutched tighter, cheeks on fire. I'm just nervous. I'd never even dated properly. Now I'd share a bed with a man I'd met 48 hours ago, husband or not. A soft chuckle drifted from above. A warm hand ruffled my hair. Silly. Scared I'll eat you. The gentle touch loosened my nerves. Bedtime. He crossed to his side, pulled the covers, and deliberately stayed near the edge, leaving me oceans of space. I climbed in stiffly back, eyes on the ceiling. The bed was huge, yet his presence, steady breathing, clean soap scent filled it. Can't move statue mode activated. A dim bedside lamp painted the room gold. His territory, textbooks, a small shield figurine. This was my husband's life. Can't sleep? His low voice rumbled. And no, you're plank stiff. Not buying it. I inhaled, tried to melt into the mattress. Talk, he offered. About what? How we ended up married. He rolled to face me. Lamplight carved his profile. My mom's army pal's daughter is your mom's co-worker. Mom rang. Great girl, you will meet her. I resisted. No time, hate blind dates. She sniffled. Only son, almost 30, can't sleep. I surrendered. At the cafe I planned to cut it short if we clashed. Then you walked in, different from what I pictured. You looked clean. Bright eyes, tiny dimples when you smiled, pure vibe. You stirred your coffee, nervous, adorable. When I popped the marriage question, I expected you to chuck the cup at me. I laughed. I did think you were nuts. But you said yes, why? Mom, pressure, your earnest face. You didn't feel dangerous. Also, I left out your hot. So, two mom bullied loners teaming up? Pretty much. We grinned like conspirators. Relaxed, I asked, why the SpongeBob apron? Doesn't suit a detective. He coughed. Grocery promo, free gift. I cracked up. The pink pajamas, slippers, pillow? I bought those. Figured most girls like pink. My heart squeezed. Jamie, you. I whispered. We're married, he repeated, turning onto his back. I studied the back of his head, warmth blooming. Maybe spontaneous weddings aren't disasters. Maybe I'd scored. Chase, I murmured. You really took a massage elective? 1 credit, Police Academy. Then, after my period ends, could you give me one? He laughed softly, the sound vibrating through the mattress. Deal. Now sleep. I drifted off within minutes. Sometime in the night, I felt him tug me closer, a warm cocoon wrapped around me. Morning. I woke plastered against him, head on his arm, cheek to his chest, heartbeat thudding beneath my ear. First thought, I'd sleep cuddled him. I'd started on the edge. How did I migrate here? I eased upward. Amused eyes met mine. Morning, he rasped, voice gravel rough and sexy. Morning. Slept okay. Yeah. My hug has knockout cuddle powers, huh? He teased. Crimson alert. I didn't mean to. I know, he chuckled, tightening his hold instead of letting go. Big bed, roll all you want. His chin settled on my crown. I went limp. We should get up. 5 more minutes. He sounded like a kid bargaining for candy. First time waking with my wife. Can't waste it. I surrendered, rigid but secretly pleased, until he finally released me. I'll make breakfast, he announced, springing out of bed, energy spiking as he strode into the kitchen. Watching his back, I touched my burning cheek. My heart felt candied, drenched in honey. This snap marriage husband actually felt kind of sweet. Over breakfast, I asked, will you pick me up later? Nope. He shook his head. Precinct needs me, could be late. Head home yourself, Avery. Oh. A small, childish disappointment settled. The food's in the fridge. Reheat it when you get back, he added. If you're starving, eat first, don't wait for me. Got it. He finished eating, shrugged into his uniform, and rushed out. Alone at the table, I stared at the empty chair opposite me, and the room suddenly felt cold. Habits are terrifying things. We'd only lived together 2 days, yet I was already used to having him here. The entire workday I floated distracted. Every time I blinked I saw Chase's face. Chase in a SpongeBob apron, Chase stone-faced in his uniform, Chase hugging me like a rogue kid. Luna noticed my dazed look and nudged me with her elbow. Yo, spacing out over your dom CEO, hubby? I rolled my eyes. He isn't a CEO, he's a cop. A cop. Luna's eyes went satellite dish wide. Whoa, seriously? You married a cop? Shoo. I slapped a hand over her mouth. She pried it off, whispering with glee. Nice one, Hazel. Badge bunny status. Way hotter than some suit. Uniform fantasy girl. Her imagination left me half laughing, half groaning. What's he like? Treats you good. Her gossip engine revved again. Yeah, he does. I meant it. Good. She patted my shoulder, benevolent older sister style. Cops rock, built-in bodyguard. Only downside? You'll be a weekend widow. Better brace yourself. Cut it out. I swatted her. But the joke lodged in me like a splinter. Tonight, for instance, he said over time, who knew how late that meant? When quitting time came, colleagues chirped about happy hour tacos or movie dates with their guys. I packed up quietly and walked out of the Novatech building alone. The city glowed neon bright, traffic roared, couples strolled hand in hand. Walking home solo, I felt loneliness bite. Back at what Chase called home, I pushed the front door open to darkness and a chill. Without him, the loft reverted to the soulless showroom it had once been. Lights on, slippers changed, bag tossed onto the sofa. I stared at the hollow living room and felt hollow too. In the fridge, my dinner waited. Plates wrapped tight, tidy stacks, a sticky note flexed across one lid. Heat it through. Chase. The quick, angular handwriting suited him. I peeled the note off and pinched it between my fingers, warmth blooming in my chest. Absent, he was still everywhere. I microwaved the food and sat at the big table, eating in silence. It tasted as good as breakfast, yet something was missing. Afterward, I ran the dishwasher, then changed my mind and washed by hand. He'd done so much, I needed to give back, even in a tiny way. With nothing left to scrub, I wandered the apartment. Really looked at it this time. Besides the master bedroom and guest room, one door led to an oak-paneled den. Bookcase after bookcase, mostly crime scene manuals, criminal codes, some history and fiction. On the desk sat a single frame. Curious, I picked it up and froze. It wasn't a solo shot or a family portrait. It was our wedding photo from City Hall. Red backdrop, 2 rigid white shirts. He was stone-faced, yet a ghost of a smile curved his mouth. I grinned like a dope. Could my smile have been any wider? He'd placed that picture dead center, impossible to miss. I traced the frame's edge, chest swelling, both sour and sweet. This man. I set it back and slipped into the guest room. Narrow bed, gray sheets, blanket folded into a razor-sharp rectangle, military neat. That's where he'd slept. I perched on the mattress. The faintest trace of his cologne still lingered. He'd given me the vast master. He squeezed into this shoebox. We're married, yet I keep taking while giving nothing. Past 10, freshly showered, I lay in the king-size bed staring at the ceiling. I waited for his key in the lock. I thumbed my phone, wanting to ask when he'd be back, afraid to distract him. In the end, I set it down. Tick-tock of the wall clock kept me sharp. 11:30, midnight, still nothing. My imagination galloped. Was he hurt? Was the job really that Casey? I couldn't stand it. I jumped up and paced. Just as I caved and grabbed the phone, the lock clicked. He's back. My heart lifted. I dashed out. Entry light on. Chase loomed in the doorway, shoulders sagging. Uniform collar open, hair messy, stubble glinting. Seeing me, he blinked. Still awake. I waited for you. My nose stung. He stepped in, shutting the door, cold air and a haze of smoke wafting off him. Told you not to. He toed off his shoes, tone scolding yet gentle. I couldn't sleep. I stood beside him, aching at the exhaustion carved under his eyes. Did you eat? At the precinct. Off came his jacket. It landed over the sofa. He collapsed onto the cushions, eyes shut, too tired to move a finger. My chest clenched. I settled next to him and, copying what he'd once done, pressed my thumbs to his temples, clumsy pressure. He exhaled a low groan, eyes still closed, letting me fumble on. Where'd you learn that? Voice gravel rough. Nowhere, just winging it. Not bad, could take you as an apprentice, he cracked. I didn't laugh, I kept kneading. Rough day. It's okay. Will it be this late every day? A pause. Hum. Sometimes I won't make it home. My stomach dipped. So this is the badgewife life. Relax. He opened his eyes, stared straight through me. Most of the squad's the same. The wives got used to it. Wives, plural, then you. Will you get used to it? He asked. I couldn't answer. All I knew was the sight of him drained and dusty tugged at something deep. Go shower, sleep, I said, withdrawing my hands. Yeah. He didn't move. I nudged. Go. He caught my wrist, tugged. I toppled into Alex. Ah, I gasped, bracing against his chest. He locked an arm around me, chin on my shoulder. Stay still, just let me hold you. Exhaustion, maybe even fragility, threaded his voice. I froze, afraid to breathe. His heat bled into me, steady heartbeat thudding beneath my cheek. We stayed like that in the hushed living room, minute after minute, until he released me. I'll shower. He stood. By the time he emerged in navy pajamas, hair dripping, it was almost 1. Why aren't you in bed? He frowned at me still on the sofa. I sucked in courage. Chase, tonight, take the master. He blinked. It's your room. You work brutal hours. You need the space. My face burned. Words tumbled out in a panicked rush. I'll sleep in the guest room. I spun toward the pillows, his hand snapped around my forearm. Slow, deliberate. Hazel, are you inviting me? Invite? To the master? Technically, yes, but not for that. No, I mean, he didn't let me finish. He towed me down the hall. Such a gracious offer. I'd be rude to refuse, he smirked, and the slanted grin looked downright Casey in the half-light. Door shut with a soft thud. Pinned to the panels, I squeaked. You've got it wrong. Brow raised. I only wanted you to rest. Sharing a bed and sleeping well. Mutually exclusive? I had no comeback. Cornered, I played my last card. Well, I'm still on my period. He paused, then laughed low, the sound rumbling against me. Hazel, he murmured near my ear, breath teasing. What exactly do you think I'd do to a patient? My cheeks combusted. He knew again. Releasing me, he strode to the bed, pulled back the duvet, and lay down. He patted the mattress. Come on, sleep. I crept over like a condemned prisoner. Last night's accidental spooning had been his prank. Tonight's invitation was my own doing, totally different stakes. I inched onto the outer rim, curling into a ball. Chase rolled to his side, head propped on one hand, amused. Careful, any further and you'll be on the floor. I slid 1 centimeter inward. He sighed, scooped me in with a single long arm. Ah, my face planted against solid chest. Stay put, he ordered, breath ghosting my hair. Squirm again and I can't promise your condition will stop me. I stiffened like prey under hawk talons. Good girl. He adjusted me into the crook of his shoulder. Silence fell. 2 heartbeats ricocheted. Mine sprinted, his steady calming. Tension bled out, lids drooping. Nice, actually nice. Just before I slipped under, his lips brushed my forehead, feather light. I jolted. He pressed my head back down. Sleep. I obeyed, smiling into his skin. Morning light found the bed half empty. His warmth lingered. I touched the spot where his mouth had been. On the nightstand, a glass of water, a sticky note. Hydrate. Breakfast in kitchen. Heat it. Chase. I sipped, still warm. I dressed for work. The loft felt hollow yet inexplicably full. At the office, Luna pounced. What time did Officer Hottie crawl in? Late. Told ya, badge widow life, she sighed, then wiggled her brows. So, anything spicy happen? I'm still bleeding, lunatic, no. I smacked her. Aha. She dragged the syllable, wink lewd. When the crimson tide ebbs, pounce. Guy's hot built, jump him. You won't regret. Blushing crimson, I shoved her into her cubicle. The day drifted by on a pink cloud. Every thought of Chase made me grin like an idiot. Love apparently tasted like cotton candy. That evening I ducked out 30 minutes early, hit the grocery, and lugged bags home. Chase cooked every night. Time I tried. I knotted the goofy SpongeBob apron, propped my phone on recipes, chopped, stirred, cursed. Nearly sliced a finger, oil spat, stinging my forearm. After an hour and change, 3 sorry dishes plus a pale soup lined the table. I surveyed the charred greens, the watery broth. Would he even manage a bite? 7:30. He shouldn't be too late. I covered the plates and waited on the couch, TV murmuring. Eyes heavy, I dozed off. A gentle tap on my cheek woke me. Chase squatted in front of me, changed into sweats, looking bemused. Sleeping here'll give you a crick. What time is it? I croaked. Almost 10. You hungry? I cooked. I jumped up, gesturing toward the dining area. He followed, lifting lids. You did this? Yup. First try, probably awful. Without comment, he sampled the worst-looking plate, pepper and pork strips. I held my breath. He chewed thoughtfully, nodded. Good. Seriously? Seriously. His gaze was level. Really good. He shoveled in a second heap, devouring rice, clearing every last dish, draining even the thin soup. Watching him, my throat tightened. It wasn't good. The meat was leather, the peppers brined. He was being kind. Sit, eat with me, he said, pulling out a chair. I already did. Then keep me company. So I sat while he polished the plates, his quiet praise echoing. Afterward, he banned me from the kitchen. Shower, I'll clean. Refusing to argue, I obeyed. When I emerged, the kitchen sparkled. He lounged on the sofa, scrolling through my phone. What are you looking at? He showed me the search history. Braised short ribs, cola chicken wings, sweet and sour pork. Planning to attempt those? Yeah. Don't. Huh. Tell me what you want and I'll cook it. Grease ruins skin, no more cooking. My chest melted into goo. But I want to do things for you too. He tugged me onto his lap, kissed my hair. You staying with me is already everything. I didn't marry a housemaid. We slept curled together again. I no longer resembled a petrified statuette, just nestled close. Chase. You smell like smoke. Bothers you? No. I buried my nose in his tea. Kinda nice. He chuckled softly. I'll try to cut back. Doesn't matter, I mumbled. Just come home safe. His arms tightened. I will. The next Riley, Chase didn't have overtime. At dawn he yanked me from bed. Up, lazy. He tweaked my nose, grinning. I whined, burrowing. He peeled the quilt and hoisted me like a toddler. Big mission today. Which is? I yawned. Helping you move. That snapped me awake. Right, my stuff still sat in the tiny floor walk-up. After breakfast we drove over. The complex had no elevator. Chase eyed the endless stairs. You live here? Yup, cheap. He said nothing, just followed me up. I unlocked the door. The scent of old coffee and solitude greeted me. The room was tiny, maybe 200 square feet, but I'd made it cozy. Movie posters I loved covered the wall, and a row of chubby succulents sunbathed on the windowsill. Lot of stuff. Chase studied my little nest. Not really, I said quickly. Mostly clothes and books, plus a few random bits and pieces. Got it. I'll haul. He rolled up his sleeves and got to work. He lifted every garment from the closet, one by one, and folded each with maddening precision, tucking them into the giant storage bins he'd brought. Watching a grown man handle my lace nighties and teeny briefs with such calm expertise, I turned the color of a boiled shrimp. I'll do that. I lunged for the pile. Relax. He didn't even look up. This doesn't need you. Speed was his superpower. In minutes, every last sock was boxed. Next came the books. He sorted them by genre, tied them into tight bundles, and stacked them like bricks. I stared at the sweat beading on the back of his neck and felt a strange, sweet ache behind my ribs. "Take a break. Have some water." I handed him a bottle. He cracked it, gulped half, and swiped his forehead. "Jordan," he grinned. At that moment I knew. I'd hit the jackpot. In the end, not much filled 6 huge crates. Chase, now a one-man moving crew, hauled them down 6 flights, loaded the car, and came back for more. I trailed behind, begging to share the load, but he only pressed the lightest succulent into my arms. When the last crate was wedged in, his t-shirt was soaked through and his chest heaved. I stood on tiptoe, dabbing his forehead with a tissue. He snaked an arm around my waist and brushed my lips, lightning quick. I froze. First kiss. Microversion. Reward, he said, eyes glittering like starshot steel. My face combusted. Back at our converted industrial loft, the unloading marathon began. He opened the wardrobe in the master bedroom, cavernous, almost empty except for a few monotone shirts, and started hanging my dresses, blouses, skirts, color by color. Menswear and womenswear, darks and brights, suddenly shared the same rod. The sight filled me with a ridiculous, humming satisfaction. A home. A real one. Books came next. My paperbacks and manga kissed his forensic manuals on the same bookcase. "You're half," he declared, wrapping the shelf. Then he arrayed my lotions and serums beside his aftershave on the bathroom counter. My throat tightened. I wasn't homeless Hazel anymore. That night I cooked, under his telechef guidance. I chopped, he sautéed, we spun around each other like practiced dancers. For dishes, 1 soup, and a bottle of red later, we toasted the official start of cohabitation. Liquid courage bubbled up. "Chase. Truth serum question. Did you already like me when you agreed to this?" He set his glass down, eyes steady. "Not already." My stomach dipped. "From the second I saw you, I knew. This is it, my person." That line hit harder than any "I love you." Later, wine dizzy, I slumped against his shoulder. "Chase, I think I kinda like you." He chuckled into my hair. "Not kinda. A lot. Nah. Prove it." "Ow." I blinked up. He answered with a slow, deep red wine kiss that wiped my brain blank. Sunlight speared my eyes the next morning. I woke wrapped around him like an octopus. He was already watching me, lashes casting tiny shadows. "Morning." His voice rasped sexily. "Morning, Officer Chase." The honorific slipped out. He lifted a brow. "Suddenly formal?" "You in uniform, hot," I confessed. "And in sweats." "Still hot." He leaned closer until our noses touched. "How about no clothes?" Face, nuclear meltdown. I sprinted to the bathroom. When I emerged, he was headed for the kitchen. He paused, backtracked, kissed my forehead. Morning kiss, new daily rule. Life with him was sweeter than I'd dreamed. Yes, his shifts were brutal, but every spare minute he spoiled me. Movies, shopping, the impossible-to-book ramen place. I was the office princess, Luna squealed daily. "Girl, you rescued the galaxy in a past life, right?" One slack afternoon, Mom called. "Hayes, you and little Sterling, how are things?" Since I'd confessed we were living together, her spy frequency had tripled. "Great. When's the wedding?" "License is signed, you can't just shack up." "Mom, we're new, no rush." "You're 26. Next year, high-risk pregnancy zone." Panic volume maxed. "This Riley your dad and I will fly up, meet his folks, lock the date." No. He's on rotation, duty calls." Then next Riley. I finally placated her and hung up exhausted. Meet the parents, formal edition. We hadn't even discussed it. That night Chase came home early. I spilled Mom's wedding ultimatum. He set down his soup spoon. "My oversight. Paperwork's done, but you deserve the name and the aisle. Next week I'll swing shifts. We'll visit my parents first, then yours, okay? So fast. I want the planet to know you're Mrs. Sterling." My heart ballooned. "Riley, I hit them all for presents." Saturday at dawn we drove to his folks' quiet tree-lined block. Eleanor flung the door wide. Come in." "Oh, Hazel, photos don't do you justice." She towed me to the sofa. "Robert, they're home." Robert strode from the oak-paneled den, tall, silver-templed, smile gentle. "Welcome, sit." I offered the gift bags. "A little something. Hope you like them. Gifts are extra." Eleanor scolded, beaming. She parked me beside her and fired questions. Work hours, did Chase behave? Robert listened, interjecting the odd-com inquiry. Pressure evaporated. Warmth took its place. Soon Eleanor tied on an apron. I jumped up. "Let me help." "Guests relax." "Let her, Mom," Chase laughed. "She needs lessons." In the kitchen, Eleanor diced and dished dirt. Little Chase painted the dog blue, deserved the spanking. I giggled. Police drilled sense into him, but Casey, he's gone weeks without a day off. You'll need patience, honey. I have it, I said. And meant it. Lunch was loud and lovely. Robert finally asked, wedding plans? Chase squeezed my hand. Simple, close friends dinner, no circus. Smart, Eleanor nodded. And the in-laws? Next week we visit Hazel's parents to settle details. We'll come too, show respect, Robert declared. He slipped out before I could stop it. Quinn, Eleanor clapped. Still, uncle? Try again. Face on fire, I glanced at Chase, soft encouragement. I swallowed. Mom, Dad. Eleanor's eyes misted. Robert smiled, satisfied. I officially belonged. Outside afterward I floated. Told you they're easy, Chase teased. My mom's amazing, Dad's marshmallow inside. Proud of yourself, huh? I nudged. Damn right. Next weekend we rolled into my parents' driveway. George and Mom adored Chase on sight. Dad actually puffed when he heard detective. Both families lunching together felt like we'd done it forever. Date set, invitations out, evenings lost in florist rabbit holes. Yet every chore glowed because it led me down an aisle to him. One night I found him frowning at his laptop. Whatcha picking? I perched on his knee. Your call. Screen brimmed with bridal shoots. Forest fantasy, vintage Cheongsam, uniform veil. One shot. I squealed at the uniform set, bride in white, groom in badge and campaign. This. My hero husband. He kissed my temple. Then we shoot it. We booked 3 looks. Airy woodland, retro cheapow, and the uniform homage. Picture day, sunshine laughter. Chase froze during romantic poses. Photographer joked he'd arrest the lens. The minute he buttoned that uniform, though, the set crackled, straight spine, eagle gaze. In my flowing gown beside him, I'd never felt prouder. Choosing photos, I wanted every frame. Chase told the clerk, add them. I hissed about cost. He tweaked my nose. Your smile's worth it. Wedding noon, small chapel, family only. Dad walked me toward the man in black who mouthed wow. Vows, rings, cheers. Bouquet arced, and smacked Zach square in the chest. Alex, Chase murmured. Next target identified. Reception, toasts, cake, his squad pouring whiskey. By nightfall my groom was deliciously tipsy. In the hotel suite he pulled me close. Finally my wife, he rasped between scorching kisses. And when he whispered Mrs. Sterling against my skin, I learned how completely 2 people could belong to each other. Don found me tangled in his arms. He brushed my hair back. Rate our story 1 to 10. I kissed the corner of his smile. Off the scale. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe, and tell us your thoughts below. More stories await. See you next time.